Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is Kathy, Coach Kathy, here to host the Freedom Friday Success Call. We've got Nick and Tony, Hilray, Chris, and of course myself. I put the call out on Skype. We'll see who else shows up, but we will not delay because we are people of action. Our time is valuable, and it is 12 o'clock on the dot. So we're going to spend about an hour together. Come as you must, come and go as you may. But we're going to be talking about building a story. And it's really as easy as 1, 2, 3. We're going to build our story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And we'll be practicing a little bit. You can expect some one-on-one coaching, because at the end of this call today, I'm going to invite you to get some personal critique on your written story. So you all can expect to write out about 3 paragraphs, and if you want some direct feedback from me, I will work with you on one-on-one on a little testimonial practice. So we're going to practice on this call. We're going to celebrate our victories. The format of the call is to welcome guests, welcome everyone here, do an overview of the content, which is building the story today, and making sure we do a closing. Today is Friday, the 17th, and we have 2 webinars before Thanksgiving. So we're going to have a long break, a bit of a break, but that time is your time, so you can use it to, enrich your life, spend time with family. You can clean up and do some administration in your business. And I would highly recommend working on your story, working on a little bit of your personal success story in the next couple days. Practice telling people the wins of your business and of your life. It's the time to really reap the harvest and harvest the good out of any situation we've had in the last year. And that's what a really good personal story does. It inspires, it motivates, it connects people. And when we use our story to everyone's advantage, when we come from a place of more for all and less for none, if you really come from a place of service, your personal victory story, particularly as it pertains to this business, becomes a very powerful tool that you can use. So we're looking at 12:03. Looks like we had a couple more people pop on. I'm going to check Skype right now. It looks like Carla was looking. Carla, okay. Doing major follow-up leads. Okay. So, all right, we're moving on. Who is here is here. It is Friday. And what I've discovered is Friday tends to be a day of freeform, maybe follow-ups. It can be a day of cleanup. So, and it's close to a holiday. For those of you who are listening to the recording of this or who are with us live, real time, I'd like to give an opportunity to center your call, because these success calls are an opportunity to inspire and motivate yourself from within, take a reset mindset punctuation for your health, your wealth, your business. So every Friday we take a few deep breaths together, and then I'm going to open the line for wins. So think about if there's something that you can share. Maybe Tony, if you have a victory of the week, you can share it when we come out of our breathing. So wherever you are, put your feet flat on the floor, relax for a few moments, and we are going to take a few deep breaths. Just take a moment to kind of settle in. Maybe put your devices down. Maybe even close your eyes if you're in a position where you can get really, really relaxed. The more we practice relaxation, the easier that becomes, and the more receptive we become in a relaxed state. So if you take a few moments to clear your mind, relax your body, and take a few deep breaths, sort of settle in, and allow this next 40 minutes to be very valuable to you, and become receptive and ready to receive that. Okay? Awesome. All right. Well, can everyone hear me okay? Thumbs up. I can see a few people. I see you, Dale. Thank you. I see Robert. Nick, I don't see you. I just see a flashing blue screen, and Tony's on the line. All right, Wins, who wants to unmute yourself and share a little part of your story here? We're gonna start with anything that's happened this week that's just been a positive in your business. Tony. Is Nick, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. You have been incredibly regular on these calls. You've been on my call for a month, every Friday.
Yeah, I try to do it. It's kind of a good time for me being at work. I can usually get on and kind of listen while I do my job. So it was good to hear.
Good. And have you been running campaigns?
I slowed down the last week and a half.
Okay.
I've been trying to schedule a strategy session with Brian that I have at 2:00 today.
Sweet.
I've been really busy with work, and then I coach football, but football season ended, so now I have time to actually put into the business myself instead of a appointment setter. So
Okay.
I'm gonna work with Brian and ask him what are the numbers I need to run, to make the sales, and he's gonna kind of give me the process of what I should be doing, and then just gonna go after it from there.
Okay. Awesome. Very proactive. Very proactive.
Yeah.
So scheduling a strategy session with Brian counts as a win.
Yes.
That's the kind of connection point where you draw on your resources and you draw on the tools and the system that's available. It's a win for the business. So really glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you've made a point to be on the calls. Thanks for unmuting and stretching your voice a little bit. Do you remember, what are the top 2 things you like about the business?
Well, I do like how it is, like the automation where I can actually set my marketing while I'm working.
Okay.
And when I get home, I actually have people call back, So I like a lot of the tools and how, I can be, like I said, I was working and teaching football and still able to get people to the webinars, via using the tools, the texting, the schedule once, and all that type of stuff. So it loses a little bit of the personal touch because I've been busy, but now I'm able to do that and actually reach out and connect with my leads and stuff to build that relationship. So I'm looking forward to that.
Very good. Very good. So couple things, remembering two things that you like about this business will always help you build a compelling story and testimonial when you're talking to people that you're unfamiliar with or you're building rapport with. So practicing and knowing for yourself, like the automations, how it touches you personally around coaching football. When you tell me that intrigues me. It makes me interested in you. It makes me interested in the tools. And you always want to speak really personally to people about your experience, because that's gonna dictate a lot of how congruent you are through the marketing process. You know, it really helps organize things, remembering those little stories. All right. Thank you for the win for the week. Anyone else win for the week? And your two favorite aspects of the business. Jackie, what are your two favorite things about this business?
My two favorite things about this business is the time freedom, first of all.
Yeah, Freedom Friday.
I have three favorite things. Time freedom, the fact that we can help other people to change their lives and engage in financial and time freedom. And thirdly, the financial freedom that it gives you as well. You know, those are my three favorite things. And my win for the week was the training that Massimo did, because my dialer, I didn't really have enough time to really look at all the videotapes and things of that nature. And my leads were just trickling in. But when he gave that training on turning it up to 80 and then 15, I mean, I felt like I had a windfall in Vegas the next day. I had so many leads and so many people. So those are the little things that you don't really know about the business, but being on the trainings, you learn all those things. So I really felt great about that. So I was able to get more people to the webinar and get more of a response of those that really attended. So that was my win for the week. Thank you, Massimo. Thank you, Kathy, for asking.
Yes. Jackie, when you're on video, can you make sure we get to see your whole face?
Oh, I'm sorry. I sit back in my free.
Oh, we want to see your whole face.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
And what you said was compelling. That sharing of those qualities of win are something you want to have in your back pocket, a story in your pocket. Being able to share something simple like that, that's wealth. You know, this business is about building wealth, and there's so many forms of wealth. Getting paid $6,500 in one sale, that's pretty awesome wealth. But those volitions, being able to have the volition to operate your business and the tools, the resources, and taking advantage of those, that's an incredible story. Massimo's training was really good. I was on that, and it makes a huge difference. That training helped me.
Yes, it did. Really did.
Yes. So great win, and thanks for popping out. What are your two favorite things?
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, I had three. One was the time freedom, and the fact that we can share this business and help other people. You know, I talked to a guy that's doing like 3 different jobs, 1 in multi-level marketing, 2 regular jobs. And he was really excited about hearing about this business and the income potential that it could provide. So being able to help other people to realize time and financial freedom. And then the financial freedom that it gives to us as well. So those are my favorite things about the business: sharing it, time, and financial freedom. And the training. I love the training. I just take a break to be on the training. And you know what? When I'm talking to people, I always promote the training, because that means so much. Because without training, just the little things you learn that end up being great things in your business means a lot. So
yes,
I'm really appreciative. I'm grateful for the training.
I'm grateful for the training too. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. All right, one last opportunity to share a win for the week. Hilray, Coach
I
Susan.
have several. Hello?
Yes, please speak up. Thank you. Yes, Hilray, I hear you.
I have actually several this week. First, I had a coaching session with Alex, and then I had a session with John to help kind of tweak my campaigns and also my follow-ups. I ran 3 campaigns this week. I've got 60 plus leads. I didn't have, well, I haven't checked last night, but I had no attendees, but I have one lady that wants in and hasn't even been to the webinar.
Hey.
I
So
was like that.
that's kind of neat. But the things that I like about this business, I've been in education for 43 years, you know, so I'm used to being without money, and I've raised 6 kids. What I see is one of the things I see is a possibility of a future for them in this business. I like the idea that I can control my own time. I have time freedom. I like the idea that I have will have money to help other people. I've never really been able to very much. And then I also like the idea, like Jacqueline said, I like the idea that I can show other people how to build themselves a future.
Yes, absolutely.
Other than just giving them knowledge.
Mhm.
This is more of a pathway.
Mhm.
There's an application, and that's why we're going to have a little homework assignment at the end of this training today. I wanted to reiterate for those who might have come on a little bit later that at the end of today's training, I'm going to offer to work one-on-one with anyone who wants to refine their story a bit, their personal success story. And as we're working through the next 20 minutes, we are building what that is. So knowing first what your win is, kind of looking for successes in your business, looking for successes in your life, and then honing in on at least 2 favorite things that you like about this business. So if you write those down, that's a good place to start with this homework assignment, whether you share it with me or not. It's a very concrete, applicable process that you can do right now to get benefit from this time spent, from listening to the recording, and it will pay dividends in your future. Because you're going to have this story in your pocket that you can lean into, refresh, renew, and share at any point, and it will always help. Knowing what you like about something will always help you. All right, so moving on. The next part of this is to look at an analogy of a story. Last week I said, and I'm going to say it again, I don't think I need to scream it, but I have a concern that my recording doesn't have good audio. We are wired for story. Our nerves, our bodies, our cognitive understanding is wired for story. We will look for beginning, middle, and end, and we look for some completion to make sense of our world. And this is a good thing for humans. We thrive on it, and it is part of our service in this business. It's part of the sales process. It's part of the rapport process, and it's part of the chorusing of the marketing message. Because we all hear things differently, and we benefit from a variety of voices. So starting from the fundamental assumption that your voice has its own special place and its unique value, and that your story, your success story, is worth telling. You just have to start there. You just have to get over the like, well, maybe I didn't have enough success to share, or I have to make $1 million before I start counting as a success. You know, you just have to say, no, it counts that I have accomplished what I have accomplished at that fundamental point. So we're wired for story. Your story is powerful. And there's 3 basic points: beginning, middle, and end. We kind of already started with the end. In our celebrations of people's successes so far, Jacqueline and Hilray and Nick shared their favorite things about this business and some personal success. That's going to be the end of this story that we're building. It's the happily ever after. It's the resolve. It's the results. The first part is going to be the stage, setting the stage. Who are these characters? Where you have to orient a story. Once upon a time. This is the part of the story that it really helps to rehearse a little bit and to be prepared with. I think of a good story as a river. There's the bank of the river, and I use this analogy with John, my appointment setter, and he reflected it back to me. If you think of it as an analogy of a river, there's the bank of the river, there's the river. You want to swim across the river, get across the river, and then get out of the river. So the ending is getting out of the river. That's how you wrap it up. You claim the victory, and you send your person off on a high note. And that's where you do the service. That's where you really make the positive touch. The river has to be a little uncomfortable. This is where our trials and our pasts and our humor and our particular details get shared. And that's where the fun is. That's where you get to kind of go with the flow a little bit. But getting into the river, you want to have a good intro. And that's why we start off with, hi, I'm Kathy. I live in Golden, and I have a background in childcare. It orients your story. So once upon a time, there was a queen, or whatever the story is, you have to have that orient. For our business, you orient it according to you and your background. That's the personal beginning. So have something, and this would be the second thing to write down. If you're going to do the homework assignment, would be an intro, a formulated sentence or two that includes your name, your most recent background, and kind of your initial entrance into the business. So that would be the second thing to write down. And then you're in the river. This is where you don't have to have it memorized. You don't have to be refined. You don't have to be some kind of theatrical, polished storyteller, marketer, commercial person. This is where you have liberty to share your heart or make it brief. This is where you develop a bit of your personal posture. You swim across the river. So with this part, you want to tell people, what was your pain point? What was your dream? What was the personal circumstance that had you come to some kind of decision point? And that happens every day. You could tell a story about anything. If you have your 2 positives to get out of the river, and you have a way to get in the river, there's a point where you have to make a decision. I opened the refrigerator and there I was staring at the condiments. You have to make a decision. So in your life, there is something that happened that had you decide to get into this business. You want to know, you want to remember and have that as like a little stepping stone across the river. You want to have a touchstone as you move across the river before you get out of the river. And that is that decision point. For me, it was an earning cap. It became really clear that even though I was taking extra college classes and I was taking on more responsibility, I was not going to get any more money. Period. That's a block. That's a rock in the road of what I was trying to do. So I could have just stayed there and made it okay. But I had this business in my back pocket. I had signed up. I knew I was sort of floundering with it, but I knew it was there. I could have, and this is what I did do, made a leap of faith and decided to go all in with this business. So you want to have that touchstone, the rock, the decision point. So that would be the other thing to write down on your homework, is that decision point and what you did. And from there, there's that freeform point again. You fill in the details of, well, I went all in and my kids were home for the summer and I got consistent. Or I was coaching football and I was letting the systems do a lot of the heavy lifting, and football season ended and I got consistent, or I got more familiar with the tools, or whatever one of your favorite things is about the business. And then you just lay out the world that has benefited you, your favorite parts of this business. And then you ask a question and you are in a state of rapport and connection with someone that really opens up a lot of value. See? So once you have completed your story and you've left yourself confident, because we're telling ourselves this story, we're hearing our own voice. You want to tell a truthful story, and you want to tell a story that is good for you to hear. This is the other part. This is the other part of laying success ground. So you've polished a beginning. So my name is Kathy. I live in Golden. I have a background in childcare, and for me, I came to a choice point when my income was totally capped. I was strongly limited, but I knew I had this business. I went all in and I started taking consistent action. I plugged into the system and I had a breakthrough in my income. In September, I replaced my income as a preschool teacher in 3 weeks. Once I got consistent and did the system as it was designed. And now I have Freedom Friday and I get to hang out with great people. How would you like something like that? You turn it back over. How would you like something like that? Or what did you hear in that? And you open it up for a dialogue with someone. Okay? I'm going to pause for a moment and see if there are any questions about what I've described so far. I know for some people the analogy can be a little bit tricky, but I find it to be really helpful. If you have those strong banks in your story, if you've got a polished beginning and you know what your happily ever after is, you know that your message is whatever your message is. It's the time freedom, the help, the I could not have gotten a college education. You know, Hilroy talking about education, not more knowledge, right? I couldn't have gotten this much more knowledge for the amount of money that I spent on this. But there's no way a college education would have gotten me this active and successful and directly tapped into something functional as this thing, right? There's just no losing. there's no losing, and you want to be so certain of that for yourself, that your happily ever after has you winning in your own mind, because you're telling that you want to be able to tell the story a number of times. You might tweak it, you might change it, you might rebuild it all together, but you want to be telling a story that has you winning, because you're going to be hearing it more than the one person you tell it to, or maybe you tell it to a webinar, right? All right. Questions, comments, thoughts. Do we have any guests? We have a couple of phone numbers who have popped on since we started listening to Kathy rant for about 15 minutes. If you have a guest online, would you mind unmuting and introducing them?
Kathy, that was me. I was on the Zoom, and then I had to go pick up my granddaughter. So I was the one that tapped in for about 15 minutes. It's Jane.
Okay, Jane. So glad you could make it with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's very enlightening.
It is.
And I have been on board. I've been on board since April and haven't done a thing because I work full time. My mother passed away. I had to close out our house and do all the executive stuff. And now my plate is clean, so I'm jumping in.
You're all in. That's great. Hi, Shiloh. My son just got home. Hi. You're home early. Okay, I'm doing the training call. Yeah.
I sent you a text.
I will respond to that text. I'm thinking about 1-ish, maybe later. Maybe let's say 3. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, 3. Hi everyone, welcome to my life. There's a story there.
You know, Kathy, that's what I love right there. You see, the beauty of this business is that we have a lot in the way of freedoms when it comes to our family and our lives. And, you know, the other thing that I really love, I think, about this business, in addition to probably every other thing that you've heard so far, is the community. You know, we have such an amazing group here. And isn't it exciting to be able to share what we have with so many others? This is, I feel like, in a large part, what the world needs right now. Really, I mean, really, and that's why I almost feel like we're just all on this mission of, you know, just reaching out to as many people as we possibly can to share what obviously is a tremendous opportunity, not, you know, from a financial standpoint, and who doesn't need more money, but also from the other side of things, this community, because, you know, people coming together is exactly what is needed right now. You know, we're all praying, you know, that with this new transition that's going on in Washington, that hopefully people can maybe start to come together and realize that we're all part of the same team here. Come on, you know, we all need to be focusing on what can we do together to make everything better for all, not just some, right?
Right.
And so I think what we're promoting is really, you know, that's what we promote, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's so many important ways to improve ourselves that confirm the unity. There is a way that story is so universal that all of humanity, whether you're in China, whether you're in Bangladesh, whether you're in Russia, story is a built-in need of humans. So to bring it back to the contents of our training, to tell us a victory story it's a gift. And when we use it in our business, like Susan was saying, we are being of service. And that value of connectedness is a wealth beyond money. And we do all want more money. The bottom line is, if you don't make a profit, you're not really in business. You've got to have grease to oil the wheel. Everybody knows this, and that's okay. And from that point, we have so many other parts of this opportunity that adds to our wealth, the storehouse of our wealth. And the story is a jewel. There's so many jewels in our little storytellings that become a chorus of positivity. And it does matter that we go in the direction of more for all. From abundance is scooped abundance, and still abundance is there. And from that mindset, from that truth, we are freed up to give a lot. And one way we give is our story. I'm sorry, Susan, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Don. I didn't mean to interrupt you. And what I find works for me anyway is that I don't make it about the money, because, for me, just that connection that you do make with people on a human level, at the end of the day, we're all human. And we have so much in common that most people don't necessarily think about sometimes. We all are so much alike in so many ways. And I feel that if I make the focus upon things that are priceless, the things that you cannot place a value on other than that it's extremely valuable, the money comes. And so that's why, yes, it's important to make money, and that's why we're here. But there's a lot of other reasons why we're here, and we're getting a lot more out of this than just the financial rewards. And speaking for myself, it's been life-changing, and that's an understatement. It's been so life-changing for me to go from struggling to just barely make ends meet and working 10, 12 hours a day at my age when I thought I was going to be retired, to now all of a sudden I am having a great life and I'm having a great time, and I'm able to just share this with so many, and they can see, they just can see that the difference in me. Everybody's commented on how different I am now. So, and I'm like, Susan, yeah, I'm the same person, but boy, what a difference, huh?
Susan, while we're on the line right now and you are sharing your story, let's work with it just a little bit to refine it for effect. Because one of the things that we do, some of us will lose a bit of the form, and that's where we can lose our prospect as well. Is if we in our speaking lose track of the story itself. So for you, I hear so many passionate likes. So you have at least 2. I just know that. Let's just work on the bank getting into the river. Okay, so what I want you to do is just think of a really simple intro, and don't doubt it, just say it. and then tell us what your decision point is or was.
Oh boy, you're putting me on the spot now. Do you know how I have struggled to get my 2-minute epiphany story? It's really hard to get it into 2 minutes.
It right now, because you're going to come up with a really simple intro, and then you're going to think, okay, you're just going to pick one. There's a ton. Just pick one point of decision for why you, and it could have been this morning why you chose to be all in with this business. It doesn't have to be in the past. It can be any point. Any moment when you felt that, am I going to have a good attitude or a bad attitude about this? Am I going to, and what you're enjoying about this business now, which is so readily available for you.
Yeah, very interesting. For me, I think it was when I realized that this was it. This is something that I had been looking for, in my opinion, all my life. And there it was, right? And I just knew from the very moment I found out about this that I would be all in, because I knew instinctively that this was exactly, and I had always said, if somebody could just sit down and figure out all of the obstacles that prevent someone from being successful and really address those issues, they would have a home run. And when I saw this, I went, oh my gosh. And I said, this is it. This is exactly what I had hoped somebody would do someday. And I just knew I wanted to be a part of it, but not only a part of it, I knew I wanted to be all in. And I came in as a VIP. I didn't hesitate. And I got off to a very fast start. And I mean, it was just an easy decision for me.
Okay. So you are closer to the exit bank. I want to hear more about what happened just before you saw
just
things.
before.
So I want to hear a little bit of the problem,
The backstory.
the pain,
The backstory, right?
just a little bit of the, like, this was not so fun, and then I saw this.
Okay, you got it. Well, it's a good story. I was in another business, which I still have, and I was working night and day and night. I was right on target to hit my goal. I had a partner who was supposed to be a silent partner, who ended up being a thorn in my side, and he pulled the plug on me at a very crucial time and stole about 2/3 of the money I had earned and took with him some of my key people. And I really lost my momentum. I lost my enthusiasm. I was very, very down. And so this couldn't have come along at a better time, because, I just had a very bad experience. And I also knew that I did not want to work 10 to 12 hours a day anymore.
And it also gives you credibility that you knew what you were looking at when you saw all these problems solved.
Yes.
What you said was like, if someone could solve all these, boom, there it is. Now I understand that you knew what you were looking for too, because of that back story, that history of ownership. And the betrayal, that is something that we all relate to.
Yeah.
It's not fun to talk about, but it helps people relate to what it takes to overcome that. And that's one of the things we're offering in this business system, is a way to overcome your challenges, to have the volition to take charge and to do something. And that's half of what you're buying, I think, is that you've done it.
Yeah.
And
I got my hope back. I can tell you that right now. I had lost my hope. I was very, very, discouraged. And CJ knew, because we were in that same business together, and she saw me struggle to really overcome that emotionally. And prior to that, there'd even been some other things. And so it had been kind of a rough year for me. And, you know, just when I thought I was just about where I needed to be or wanted to be, then boom, here comes something else, right? But now I am just feeling so blessed. I can't even begin to tell you. You know, it's just been night and day. I'm so beyond grateful. I'm so thrilled to just be a part of this. It's so exciting, really.
It really is.
It is, and I'm so looking forward to this new year because I know it's going to be so different than this year had been up to the point when I saw this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So I invite anyone on the call to work with me similar to what I've worked with Susan on, a little bit more in depth, because I do want to see, even you, Susan, a more refined beginning. It just really helps when you're tracking your own sharing, that you want to have a sandwich. You want to have the banks of that river. You want to know how you're getting into the story and how you're getting out. If you find yourself rambling, or there's a drop off in relatedness, asking a question always brings back an interest and an engagement.
I've been working on my epiphany story forever, and I still don't have it down to 2 minutes. First of all, I'm a writer, so it's very hard for me because I do tend to get a little eloquent sometimes, and so I'm really working on trying to narrow that down to that 2-minute epiphany story, right?
Yeah, I'll work on it more with you if you want.
I would love that, because I'm trying to say a lot and get it into 2 minutes, you know, and you can't do all of it. Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my email in the chat. My email address. And this is for anyone who wants to work on their epiphany, their testimonial story with me, or email me your rough draft or a draft, and I'll read it and we can talk about it. Because it's a great joy. It's a great, great joy to share personal stories with people. In this business, we want to have a pretty concise story. We want to have our emphasis on listening more than talking. But when we do talk, when we do share our personal story, we want to have it wrapped up like a gift. We want to have it ready for ourselves to enjoy and to benefit the people who are listening to us. All right, anyone else? Let's see if we want to hear a story from someone else. We got a few minutes. Thank you so much, Susan, for popping out and working and being here. What a great benefit. I'm stumbling over my words, but thank you so much. There's time.
Well, and thank you too, Kathy, because I've just watched you grow so much, and it's exciting to have you, doing these sessions, and you've been very helpful to me too in overcoming some of those obstacles. So I'm grateful for that. The technological things.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you.
One more thing before you get off. Look, I did.
Oh, your dream board! Yay! I love it. I love it.
I did 2 sides.
I love it.
And I know you. Yeah, I did 2 sides. There I am.
Oh my goodness gracious! Yours is 2-sided. Wow, I love it. Oh, that is so cute.
Oh, man. Okay.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I thought mine was busy, but you got 2 sides and they're both busy. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. We have not heard from John Flanagan. He jumped on. Yay, John. We're talking about stories. Do you want to share your story? Work on your story? Where is he? We don't know. Anyone else? We have a different Nick. Tracy, you want to share your story? Gotta run. Thanks, Kathy. You're welcome, Dale. You have a great day. Thanks for being on our call. Work on your story. Let me coach you if you want some coaching on it. Okay, awesome. Anyone else? Robert? Tracy? Tony? There's Tony. You're muted. Come on out.
Hey, Tony. Don't be shy.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh, you're still on the phone too, I think.
Here I am.
Here you are.
That's great to be on the computer. I can say you don't get as much out of this on the phone listening in.
It helps. Well, that's the benefit of the virtual conference room, the interaction and sharing screen and stuff. You ready?
Hey, where were we?
The story. Let's hear about your story.
Oh gosh, it's a mini series. Where do I start? Let's see.
So you want to start at the bank of the river. Now you're jumping in, so you want to have it somewhat refined. Keep it simple.
Well, I don't know if I have it refined yet.
I'm Tony. I live somewhere. Where do you live?
Lake Oswego, Oregon. It's a suburb. It's a suburb of Portland, Oregon, which most people know it as somewhere between Washington and California.
There you go. Well, see that orient,
yes.
right? You want to orient people. You're Tony, you live in Oregon, and you have a background in something.
Yes, I have a background. I've been in sales and service related field for over 30 years and kind of finished that up in 2009 being a mortgage broker. I got into that career thinking it was going to be my last step until the economy crisis and the mortgage crisis and everything else. Plus, I had some tragic things happen in my life that took my mental focus away from what I was doing, which I guess the economy crisis came along, was just another hair on the camel's back, if you will, at that point in my life. I went through a thing in 2003. My 18-year-old daughter was in a tragic car accident, and she sustained a traumatic brain injury. And so for the rest of her life, she's in a foster care home. And that kind of didn't sit well with me back then. And I was struggling, and it wasn't like I was a drug addict or an alcoholic, but I all of a sudden took on that kind of a mentality, and I was living outside of myself. So my career was going downhill because I was focused on my daughter and one thing after another. And I ended up losing everything I had in my life. A long-term relationship, new home, cars, boats, had it all going on. And now I'm down to nothing, living with my stepdad that, God willing, financed me to get into this business. Because on top of everything, I filed bankruptcy a couple of years ago and got rid of my $200,000 worth of credit card debt. And I didn't have good credit, so I couldn't even get a loan. Once Alex told me that, we have in-house financing, because that kind of made my ears perk up. So I went through that. That's when I met Jerry Roy. And one thing led to another, and then I was sitting around going, oh man, I can't get financing for this business, and got to talk to my stepdad, and he says, well, how much do you need? And I go, well, at least $17,000, because I want to come in at least $12,500 and have money for marketing. So he went and drug the equity out of his house, and here I am.
Wow.
And yeah, and on top of that, I've been looking at internet marketing for probably the last 7 years. And because I knew inside my own brain and my heart, this is something that needs to be done, because I understand this is the wave of the future, and the internet is where eyeballs are, and that's everything in this world today. And I've done sales and marketed things, but if you're not getting eyeballs on what you're marketing, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you gotta
I dove in.
definitely operate with lead abundance. Tony, your story is so human and heartful and deep, and I feel you in my heart about everything that you shared. I don't want to go on in a training kind of atmosphere without acknowledging the incredible gift that you've given us on this call. I didn't know your story. I didn't work with you in Vail on the Epiphany story. I've never heard that before, and I feel that much closer to you.
Well, very few do, but it's getting out.
the human spirit, we can get so down and discouraged, but there is a force within us that drives us to goodness, and something happens when people just hang in there long enough. Life will renew us. And I know on my own journey, learning about resiliency and what it takes to rebound, it's not taught. Resiliency and recovery and how to really take care of ourselves in tragic times it's something that I think this community has helped a number of people see outside of a down place in their life and reach for greater heights. Your story is such an example of how this business propels people to get better. That's what I heard.
Yes, it does. And it was amazing when I was in Laguna Beach last June, when I first met Alex and Massimo. And talking with Massimo, we were kind of in close quarters at the time, and shared his story and mine. We kind of have similar past, because he's got a real tragic happening in his life also, which, my hat's off to him. It had to be tough, but, he's a remarkable individual.
The power of love that resides in each of us is always going to be stronger than any life circumstances. That's where faith, where that leap of faith really comes in. Our circumstances, our tragedies, our debts, our bank accounts, our stories of that block in our way, our decision point circumstances will always test our faith. But if we just say, no, my faith, the power inside of me, the power amongst us, the greater source energy is stronger than these circumstances, it's true. It's just true. So, are you going to take me up on the homework? Are you going to write me? Are we going to work more on it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I need all the help I can get.
Okay. And I'm going to extend that out to anyone who might listen to this as a recording. You'll just have to Skype me or get my emails somehow. I'll put it in the Skype, and I'll be happy to work with anyone on their epiphany story, how to get a couple firm in and out points, a bank of the river, a nice refined intro, a little bit of free form, making sure you handle that decision point really powerfully and get out of the river, end your story, wrap it up on a high note with a couple of your most favorite aspects of this business, how it's benefited you, and ask a question. Bring it back around into rapport and dialogue with someone. Simple, very powerful, something that we'll probably continue to work on for the next few weeks. We're right at the very top of the hour on Freedom Friday.
We are.
I hope you all have a nice, I'm going to go enjoy. I'm going on vacation this weekend. Pack the webinars. We've got Saturday webinar and Tuesday webinar. Use your replays. Can't wait for the new funnel, everyone. Woo! We're gonna hyper launch that. I'm sure that's gonna be such a blast. I personally haven't jumped into the funnel yet. I'm a little scared, but my confidence is building. I'm watching everything take awesome shape, and this
Kathy, you're a force.
That's on my vision board. Did you see it?
No.
It says be a force.
She did a two-sided dream board. Oh my gosh.
My hat's off to you. I didn't realize until I think yesterday I saw all the stuff you have on YouTube, and I'm going, wow, you've really progressed. I'm going, you're up there with the gurus.
Oh man, well, let's just keep imagining very giant containers to catch all my money in.
Well, I see that and I'm going, gosh, I need to be doing this, this Facebook marketing and YouTube. I don't understand it yet, but I know it has to be done.
Work harder on yourself than you do on your business. It's really, really true that you are going to first build it in your best mind. If you're envisioning and then the next feeling or word is should, just scrap it. Take a nap. You'd be better off, because you want to put as much excitement into whatever you're doing as possible. It's really important, because if you could do a million activities with should in the background, and you might as well not do any of it, because you're putting that should obligation sort of lack right into your activity. That's what you're feeding.
As Yoda would say, there's no trying, there's just doing, right? No shoulda, coulda, wouldas. You gotta just do it, right? So that's on my dream board. Just do it.
And practicing the epiphany story is an incredible help to checking in with what you're putting in through your system. Because when you talk to yourself, you're telling a story, and if it's a should story, you want to practice telling yourself the empowering story all the time. So this is a really effective way to work your business. Not only, particularly in relationship with other people and what it does to promote your business, but it also works on impressing your own subconscious mind with happily ever after. So, my dear ones, yes, I am excited about YouTube. I'm glad that you found me on YouTube. All right, we're ready.
Yeah, and you even went public with pigtails.
Yes, I had to just do the pigtails right away. So fun with Aniko and Susan. That was way too fun. All right, any guests we need to acknowledge? John Galama, thank you for being here. I wish I could pronounce your name. Nick, thanks for hanging in there. You're right in there. We love and appreciate all of you on the phone. Nick, Tony, Tracy, 215 and 530. We are so happy that you all made it out. Feel free, take a nice deep breath, enjoy your time, pack the webinars. We will see you guys next week.
Oh, Kathy, can I get your email on Skype?
Oh, we've got, yes, you can Skype me. Let's do the homework. Susan does it in the chat, but you are back. It's getting better. I'm going to test drive some RVs.
Tony knows what I'm talking about, that road trip in the big RV. Remember on my dream board?
Awesome.
Hey, Kathy,
go
it's Tracy
check it
here.
out.
Yeah.
Hey, Kathy.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
what is your YouTube channel, by the way?
1, 2, 3, Quality Coach Kathy.
Okay.
It's just that easy. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I got on a little bit late today. I was actually on a training with Jerry was giving because I'm on his team. And I'll just make this short because I know you're wrapping it up, but I'm trying to make these trainings as much as I can. I live in Northwest Florida. I've worked in 3 industries: financial services, business management, and a former real estate appraiser in Las Vegas prior to the crash, and then that business kind of went away. The company I was working for folded up. But this is happening at a good time for me. But I made a huge mistake, and once I get going, I'm going to caution people against my mistake. And my mistake was this. I actually got in over a month ago, but I was pursuing dual things and working. So I was trying to decide which direction to put my time, effort, and energy. And now, a month and a half later, I'm coming back to this, which I should have done in the first place. But, you know, we all, you know, sometimes we're smarter than we actually are. So I'm coming back to it. But I'll just say this.
Smart ourselves.
Yeah, we outsmart ourselves. But I'll just say
that's sort of stupid.
Yeah, you know, sometimes we're just a lot smarter than we actually are. But the interactions I've had with everybody are just outstanding. You, Leilani, Massimo, Susan, for example. Just, I mean, you know, the group here is just outstanding. I'm kicking myself for not actually getting on these trainings over a month ago, which I should have done. I should have did it, but I didn't do it.
Shoulda, coulda.
Yeah, I should have.
No more shooting on
No
yourself.
more shoulda, coulda, woulda.
No more shooting on yourself. Tracy, I know you popped out and shared. Really glad that you're here. And that was a great story. The great story. There's you could feel a little drop in the cautioning of the mistake. You know, that's where we affect each other emotionally. And I have a similar story because I definitely split my focus away from this business for months and didn't pay attention to it. So that's a pretty common sort of aspect. However,
yeah, I should be. Yeah, you're right. I should be a month and a half further along than I am, and I kick myself for it. But that's the part I wanted to share. I shouldn't have done that. But
well, Tracy, here's the piece about that nuance of the story. Leaving it at the should point is not a victory. It's not compelling a prospect or yourself to take action and to succeed. So from there, you got to take it either to the system was working for me anyway, because that's true for me. I know that I was not handling my business for months, but the system kept working while I was doing other things. That's a win. That's a victory, and that helps me feel better about the I really should have done that better. Or you take it to the point of now I'm consistent, now I'm on the calls, now I'm utilizing the tools, or you mix and match because they're both true.
Right.
Yeah. So definitely use that with people because that gives that rounded hue. You and I are not the only ones, and being cautioned away from our own mistakes, really, that we have to make our own mistakes. I had to make that mistake. You don't know if someone's going to do that when they sign on to you. So make it a win. Make it a win.
Right. No, you're right. That's good advice, and I'll do that. But yeah, I'll just say my interactions so far with every part of this business has been nothing short of fantastic, awesome with everybody. With everybody.
Yeah. And now you're contributing, right? So now you're on these calls, making a difference for other people, giving back, contributing, and in the flow of the other elements of wealth that this thing provides for us. So thank you so very much.
No, thank
Tracy,
you.
can I say something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It doesn't matter when you started or where you're at, you're still ahead of the game. I started back in May, and I've had that feeling myself that, wow, I should have been progressed, I should have done this, I should have done that. But
Right.
some of us have things to get over in life, whether it's another avenue of income that we have to sustain, or, you know, life itself. You're still ahead of the game just being here.
Well, thank you for that. That's very, you're right. You're right. And I try to do too many things at once, and I joined this, and then I was pursuing something else, and I'm still working that other business, but I'm switching now and going full time into this. But those are very good words of advice, and I appreciate it.
That's great. What part of Florida are you in?
Northwest. I'm up in the Pensacola area.
Oh, great. I'm thinking about going down to the Villages in January.
Oh, there you go. Can't go wrong there. Absolutely stunningly beautiful over there. Just
I have some friends that have 6 houses there, and they invite me down.
Oh, well, you got to take them up on that. Good grief.
That's nice. Maybe you guys can meet up.
Possibly.
Well, you
Yeah,
know, after
maybe.
Vail, I have 5 new friends in Florida.
Yeah. And along those lines of taking stock of where you're at, it's useful to improve and always seek the next best thing, and how you could. That's part of learning, is being like, oops, that didn't work, I should have plugged in earlier. But taking stock of how you're learning. I liken this business as the Boston Marathon. Okay, this is not for the faint of heart. This is not just like a willy-nilly thing. This is really awesome, like the Boston Marathon. I mean, it's spectacular. So even though I've been slow in the race, I'm still in the Boston Marathon. That's how I see this business. I may not have all the results that Massimo has, or I could compare myself financially to some other people, most definitely. And instead of using that against myself, I'm just gonna say, like, well, I'm in with this, and I'm gonna strive to do my best inside of it. So I don't mind being last in the Boston Marathon. Still, I hope that helps. I like it.
No, I like it. I like it. All great comments, and just, you know, I cannot say enough about the Skype group, this training, the Massimo, Lonnie, Susan, you. I mean, you know, it's just a fantastic group. I didn't plug in a month ago, but I certainly should have, and I'm very impressed with everyone that I interact with. Everyone.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
It's great.
All right, to wrap up, last bit of reminders, and Susan, feel free to pop in if there's something I'm forgetting. But we have a webinar tomorrow. We have a webinar on Tuesday. We have a holiday break. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Please count your blessings. Gratitude is the best attitude. And it's not just a time to stuff face. It is more than that. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, I do want to say one thing, Kathy. You know, a lot of times people think the holidays is not a good time to be pursuing your business, but I gotta tell you something. You better think about working on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next week, because I'm going to tell you right now, we're coming into the new year, and the momentum that you guys will create right now will carry you over into January. And if you want $100,000 a month in January, you better start now. And
I love it.
People are done with the holiday now. Thursday is Thanksgiving, okay? Wonderful day. Families are together. I'm going to California, going to be with my family for over a week. And, but on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, their minds are now able to relax a little bit. Maybe they don't have to work. And, now they're starting to really think about, okay, the holidays are coming up and, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to tell you that, the holidays can actually be a very good time for your business if you make up your mind that it will be. Okay, don't count anybody out. Don't count anybody out as far as your prospects go, because, their minds are starting to turn to the fact that we're coming up on another new year. And oftentimes they're thinking, oh my God, I was thinking I would be way farther along at this point, and here we are on another new year and nothing's changed. And their minds are on changing.
Are you reading my mind?
Yeah, definitely. So don't slow down.
Good advice. That's good advice. Yeah, during the holidays. Very good advice.
Yeah, and really, thanks for the fire up. That's what we needed. We want to end this call on, you can do this, keep going, get better. You got this. You got this. Bye for now, you guys. You guys, thanks so much.
Have
Thanks,
a great
Kathy.
one.
Bye.